These are the answers to worksheet 10-1, day 1. We're solving by factoring. Now 1 and 2 have already been factored out for us, and so what we're doing in those cases is just taking each of these and setting them equal to 0. And as you get good at this, you'll be able to skip this step and just look at x minus 8 and say, well, the thing that would make this 0 would be 8. 8 minus 8 would be 0. That's one of our answers. And then you take the x plus 14, we do the same thing to that. Subtract 14, we get x equal negative 14. Okay, so there's our two possibilities. Those are the two things that could make this 0, either the 8 or the negative 14. Now this one's a little not as obvious, right, to see exactly what would make this equal 0. So if it's not obvious, no big deal, just set it equal to 0, add 5. 2x equals 5, and then divide by 2. We get x equal to 5 halves. So that would be one answer. And then same thing here, take 5x plus 12, subtract 12. So 5x could equal negative 12, or divide by 5, and we get x equal to negative 12 fifths, or negative 2.4. Right? And those are our two answers for that. So these were already factored out for us. Now, we get to here, and our job is to do that factoring, make them look like that, and then solve them after that. So you have two jobs to do. First thing, find two numbers that multiply to equal 27 and add to equal 12. Those numbers are 9 and 3. 9 times 3 is 27, 9 plus 3 is 12. Then, look at it and say, okay, well, what would make x plus 9 equal 0? And that would be negative 9. What would make x plus 3 equal 0? That would be negative 3. And there's our answer. So we're going to factor first, and then ask ourselves what would make these things 0. Same thing here. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal 16 and add to equal negative 10. Those numbers are negative 8 and negative 2. Negative 8 times negative 2 is 16. Negative 8 plus negative 2 is negative 10. So now my question is, well, what would make x minus 8 equal 0? That would be positive 8. What would make x minus 2 equal 0? That would be positive 2. Get 8 or 2. Here, what two numbers multiply to equal negative 20 and add to equal 1? Those numbers would be positive 5 and negative 4. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 5 plus negative 4 is positive 1. So what would make x plus 5 equal 0? That'd be negative 5. What would make x minus 4 equal 0? That'd be positive 4. Same thing here. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal negative 10 and add to equal negative 3. Those numbers are negative 5 and positive 2. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. So what would make x minus 5 equal 0? That'd be 5. What would make x plus 2 equal 0? That'd be negative 2. There's our answer there. For here, I'm looking at this one a little different. I have x squared minus 8x. There's no third number. So at first you might get confused here, but look at what they have in common. They both have an x. So we can pull that x out front, and we could have this. So now I still have two things multiplying to equal 0. So my question is, well, what would make the first thing 0? And that would just be 0, right? 0 times this would be 0. If you look at the original, 0 squared is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. And so that's easy enough. I look at that, and I know that's 0. Okay, and then what would make x minus 8 equal 0? That would be positive 8. For number 8, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal 9, add to equal 6. Those numbers are 3 and 3. So we end up getting the same number, right? 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. So what would make x plus 3 equal 0? That would be negative 3 and negative 3, right? So I don't need to put it twice. If you did, it wouldn't be wrong, but you could just say we only have one solution here. Only one thing makes this 0. Here I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal negative 25 and add to equal 0. So hopefully we feel good about doing 5 and negative 5. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. 5 plus negative 5 is 0. What would make x plus 5 equal 0? Negative 5. What would make x minus 5 equal 0? positive 5. So that was not too bad. Then we get this last one. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to equal negative 90 and add to equal 1. And that might have taken you a little bit of time, but anytime I see something that ends in 0, I'm thinking 10. And in this case, this would be positive 10 and negative 9. 10 times negative 9 is negative 90. 10 plus negative 9 is positive 1. So what would make x plus 10 equal 0? That would be negative 10. What would make x minus 9 equal 0? That would be positive 9.